this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. What today's episode is a customer bought this guy right here that's still boxed up. It came back as a return to me. The customer had said that, you know, it makes a really pulpy juice, pretty much like a blender, like a smoothie. And, you know, I wouldn't maybe say that. Maybe it is defective and maybe it isn't. I don't know. But in general, the Omega Vert does make a pulpier juice, and we do advertise this on our website. We advertise the Omega Vert as making a rich, full-bodied, pulpy juice. So some easy ways to have your juice less pulpy is basically just really simple. It's just by using a standard kitchen strainer, such as this we have here that we're going to use today. Also, properly using the machine so that the machine will operate the best. And actually, if you operate the machine properly, it's going to reduce the amount of pulp. If you just cram things in there and expect it to juice, the machine's not going to work. It's like if you're driving a stick shift car and try to put it into gear and grind the gears because you're not using the clutch. So we need to use an Omega Vert juicer properly. And I have at least 3 or 4 videos that explain proper use of the Omega Vert. So at this time, I've made over 250 videos to help my viewers determine the right juicer for them. So feel free to take your time and go through all 250 of them if you need to find the right juicer for you. You know, Discount Juicers is not a fly-by-night company that many other internet companies may be. I'm not here just to make a buck. I'm here to make a difference in your life by getting you machines and appliances that will allow you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables so that you can get healthier. I believe my health was saved by a juicer and by consuming more fresh fruits and vegetables so that I could be as healthy as I can. I mean, I was in the hospitals and the doctor told me that I might not make it out alive, and that's not a fun place to be. So next we're going to go ahead and open this box up and check out the return, see if it's operating properly, see if it is in fact effective, or if it just wasn't working to the customer's expectations. Now let me talk about that for a second. Expectations are very important. You know, if you expect to buy a juicer and it's going to make a pulp-free juice and it's the Omega Vert, that's not going to happen. You know, every style juicer is better or worse at doing certain things. I happen to like the Omega Vert. It's one of my favorite juicers for what it does. But it's not like God's gift, and it's not like the best juice in the world, bar none. I mean, it has its pros and cons like anything else in the world, right? And I have a really good video I'd encourage you to check out if you already own a juicer. It's called Should I Buy a New Juicer? And do a YouTube search for that video. And basically I talk about the pros and cons of buying a new juicer. And you know, definitely there's many. If you're used to a juicer that doesn't make too much pulp in your juice and you get the Vert and you know you don't like pulp in the juice, you know, that's probably not a good juicer to buy for you. You want to look for a juicer that's not going to make that much pulp in the juice, or be willing to use like a strainer to get the pulp out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open up this box and see what we got inside. Alright, so inside here we have the Omega Vert model VRT 330HD. Gonna go ahead and put this in the back here. Got the instruction manual and got all the different parts. Here's the auger packed in there, the pusher and the cleaning brush, some packing material. Alright, here's the main juicer, and it does look in good shape to me. Let's go ahead and take the time to plug that in. Next, inside here we have all the different parts. So with the juicer you do get 2 catch cups. And here's the top of the housing. And the main housing here. Alright, so these are all the parts. Let me go ahead and quickly inspect all the parts. This is your juicing bowl. On your juicing bowl, one of the things that's very important is always make sure this little yellow plug is pushed in properly. If you don't push this in properly, the machine's not going to work properly. So that looks like it's A-okay. Next, we're going to inspect the wiping blade. This is a wiping blade. It actually spins around and cleans the screen, so no other juicer that aren't the vertical juicers have this feature, so it's kind of nice and ensures you get a higher yield. That looks all right. Next, I'm going to take a look at the auger, and the auger looks like it's in perfect condition. That just goes right into the juicing screen. Then you're going to take your bowl here, and on the bowl there's a nice little red dot. We're going to line that up with the red dot on the juicing screen. It's going to kind of lock into place there. Push this auger down just a little bit to get it in there, and we could go ahead and put this on the unit. And then finally we're going to take the top, and there's a little white arrow that we're going to line up with that little red dot on the side and lock it into place. So that is how you assemble it. Now next we're going to go ahead and turn it on, make sure it's operating normally and sounds alright. That's definitely how it should sound. We could go ahead and turn the Omega Vert 350 on this side on. Pretty much sounds the same. I think this model has had a little bit more use than this guy over here. That being said, these are low RPM juicers, 80 RPM, so they're relatively quiet. And they run at a slow and steady pace to maximize the amount of nutrition that you're going to get in the juice. Next thing here, we're going to open up this little packet, and there's a cleaning brush. Now this cleaning brush is instrumental in cleaning the machine. The other thing we're going to get out here is the pusher. And the pusher is used to only dislodge produce if it gets stuck in the feed chute. You don't want to take a carrot and then push it in. No, you're using the pusher improperly if you're using the pusher in the Omega Vert. I can see the pusher does have some carrot stains, so they may have been using the pusher. Now, if you're using the pusher in the Omega Vert because it's not jammed, just to jam stuff in there, you may be juicing too fast. So you want to juice at a slow and steady pace in the Omega Vert without the pusher whenever possible. So we're just going to kind of put this back there and not actually even use it. So once again, we're going to get this set up. We're going to use one of the catch cups on each of the machines to catch the pulp coming out of the machines. Next, we're going to take a standard 4-cup Pyrex measuring cup. This is glass. These are available at your local big box store. Then we got a strainer basket. I have a strainer basket. You could get these at a specialty cooking store, or you could also use just a standard sieve. And we're going to do this because I want to catch the pulp out of both these machines, juicing the exact same produce to see if this machine is producing more pulp than my Omega Vert 350. Once again, the Omega Vert 350 HD and the Omega Vert 330 HD are identical machines except for the color. They operate the same, they're the same price, they have the same 10-year warranty. So the major complaint was it produces a really pulpy juice and it's defective, I'm returning it, and that's why we got it back. So I want to make sure that it's operating normally and that it's alright. So we're going to go ahead and put this catch underneath there, and we're going to go ahead and put this bowl and the same exact screen once again on this return juicer. Next, we're going to check out the carrots. As you can see here, we have baby carrots that we're going to juice today, and on the scale, you can see the weight of the carrots is 2 pounds, 0.96 ounces on this scale, and we're going to go over to the next scale, and on this scale we have, once again, 2 pounds, 0.96 ounces. So we have the identical amount of produce, and what we're going to do is I'm going to turn on both machines and do a double juice off. I'm going to take a handful of each and put it in the machine so that we're operating at the same exact time, the same way. So it's really important to me that you buy the juicer in the first place, and you don't return your juicer because you have watched a lot of my videos to know how each of these machines work intimately before you even get it. And you're going to get a lot of my information and the benefits of juicing and benefits of a lot of the different produce items that I'm juicing. Actually, the Omega Vert is one of my favorite juicers. I've juiced things from loquats to plums to cactus pears to, I don't know, all kinds of different lychees, all kinds of different things in the Omega Vert, and it handles it just quite fine. So it kind of frustrates me that Omega Vert came back. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start juicing. We're going to turn both machines on, take one handful at a time and just drop it into each machine. So far, so good. Both machines are working, and you can see the pulp coming out. Once again, you'll notice we're not using the pusher, and in between each handful, I'm taking a nice pause. You're taking a look now at the Omega Vert 330 HD working. This is the one that came back, and to me this one looks like it's working just fine. So what the juicer does, it separates the pulp from the fiber. Now it's the juice of the fiber that feeds you, and actually that quote came from the juice man, now known as the Juice Daddy, Jay Kordich, actually one of my mentors that taught me a lot about juicing. He actually was responsible for getting me into juicing. Okay, now sometimes what happens is when you're feeding carrots in the machine and you're feeding them too fast, the machine will stop up, much like this one did. That is completely normal. You're going to go ahead and turn the machine off, press the reverse for just 1 second, let it turn around, and then you're going to hit the on button again, and then it'll basically spin through and continue to juice. When that happens, what you're doing is you're probably juicing too fast, and what you really want to pay attention to on the vert is you want to keep your eye on the pulp ejection port. If pulp is still moving out of that pulp ejection port fairly fast, that means there's a backlog inside the machine and that you're feeding too fast. Once the pulp significantly slows down or stops coming out, then and only then should you put in another handful to be juiced. Another reason why it can't stop up is if you put a large diameter carrot in, that the machine just doesn't have the sheer torque to break that carrot up. I mean, this is not a cutting blade. This is basically on the machine. It's a blade that runs at a low 80 RPMs. It's literally chugging off a piece at a time. So let's go ahead and continue to feed some carrots in both machines here. I'm going to slow down the pace a little bit. Let's go ahead and do a close-up here on the Omega Vert 350. This machine, once again, same exact as the Omega Vert 330 over on this side, and they're both working pretty much the same. Both these machines are working fine, and this machine I can definitely say is not like a blender. You can see in this container it's separating most of the pulp from the juice, and we are getting the juice in the collection cup, and we are getting a bit of pulp from the Omega Vert 330 in the strainer basket there. Let's go ahead and continue to juice in both machines. We're going to have to go ahead and push down the catch cups. This one's actually overflowing a little bit. Alright, there's all the carrots in the Omega Vert 350. And there's all the carrots in the Omega Vert 330 HD. Let's go ahead and move both these scales out the way. Now once again, on both machines, you want to continue to let them run until all the pulp has stopped flowing out of the machine. Alright, so that'll pretty much do it. Let's go ahead and turn off these machines. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the pitchers and put them up front and center so you can kind of see what's going on there. What I like to do is always move the pulp catch cup underneath the juice catch, because you'll usually get some drips of the juice coming out. So first we're going to take a measurement to see if the machines were operating properly. Once again, we started with, I think, 2 pounds, 0.96 ounces. And on these cups here, we pretty much got up both juicers got up to 2 1/3 cup just about. So they were definitely even. Next, we're going to go ahead and take out our little strainers here. And what I like to do is shake out this strainer. And as you could see, both juicers did catch some extra pulp that was going to go into the juice. And we could go ahead and dump that out there. And you could definitely see that the Omega Vert 330 HD that was returned definitely had more pulp, that was caught than the Omega Vert 350 HD. Now, basically, all the Omega Verts will produce some pulp, and they're going to put it in the juice. Now, this is not an excessive amount of pulp. As you can see, most of the pulp is in these catch containers right here. This is the pulp. If you blended this up in a blender, you would mix this with the juice. All of it. Not just some of it, but all of it. So by no means is this like a smoothie texture. This is a very nice and thin texture. Now I'm going to do a taste test to see if any remaining pulp got in the juice after using our little strainers here. Now this is all it takes to take the extra pulp out of the machine. You know what? That is a pulp-free juice. Let's go ahead and taste this one. That's definitely a sweet juice. So I used organic Bunny Love carrots for this juice off from Costco. The baby carrots that are pre-washed, 5 pounds. We divide them into 2. We juiced them. We got some delicious pulp-free juice after using a simple strainer. And while the Omega Vert 330 HD that came back as defective because it puts tons of pulp in the juice, we found out that it does make a little bit more pulp, but by no means is this defective. Each and every juicer off the assembly line will have small variances in the amount of pulp it makes. These were the same carrots, so I don't know exactly how to explain that. Maybe some of the tolerances are a little bit different. But you know what? You will get some pulp in the juicer, and all it takes is a simple strainer to strain it out. Once again, you want to follow some procedures when juicing in the Omega Vert. Number 1, you want to feed slowly. In general, if you slow down, you're going to have less pulp in the juice. Number 2, use a strainer. It's very simple, very easy. One of these things cost a few bucks, maybe even at the dollar store, to take that extra pulp out if you don't like it. Number 3, if you are juicing leafy greens, which I did do in this test, it's very important to chop them up into small little pieces. The same thing you need to do with celery. If you haven't yet already, please watch my videos where I pretty much straight up show what you have to go through to get the optimal results when using the Omega Vert juicers. And what that involves is chopping the greens and the celery up into small little pieces and rotate what you're feeding so that you could be optimally successful in juicing in the Omega Vert juicers. Once again, the Omega Vert juicers are one of my favorite juicers just because of the sheer convenience, the feed chute size, and the lower RPM that preserves a lot of the nutrition, more so than the high-speed centrifugal ejection machines. So as you just saw, the Omega Vert 330 HD that came back was not a defective juicer, and maybe it just didn't meet the customer's expectations for whatever reason. Maybe there was buyer's remorse. Maybe this was more pulp than he expected. Maybe he didn't want to use a strainer. I have encouraged the manufacturer many times to include something like this that wouldn't cost so much, but they've still denied, and they still to date do not include a strainer. Many juicers, including the Champion, the other models, Omega, auger juicers, even the twin gear juicers, Green Star juicers, all include additional strainers to strain out the juice, because if you're not doing a centrifugal ejection style juicer, there will be some pulp in the juice. So I want to encourage you to watch some of my videos on YouTube until you are confident in your juicer purchase. And even after watching the videos, if you still aren't sure, please email me personally at sales@discountjuicers.com with specifically what you're needing and what your specific criteria is when purchasing a juicer, such as, I don't want it to be loud, I want a high quality juice, I'm going to juice mostly leafy greens, I want it easy to clean. Whatever your criteria may be, let me know, but also let me know the specifics of what you'll be juicing. Hey John, I'll be juicing 60% carrots, 20% greens, and 30% broccoli, sprouts or whatever. And, I could basically use my expertise and recommend a juicer that's best going to meet your needs so that you can, too, be one of the thousands of satisfied customers of DiscountJuicers.com. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode and gained some knowledge about the OmegaVert juicers. Once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.